Let's talk a little bit about sexual assault now, which is the other side of this presentation. When you talk about sexual assault, first, I want you to think of it as broader than just forcible rape, which is usually the way people refer to or depict rape or sexual assault. There's actually many types of non-consensual sexual relations. But the way I'm going to break them down for purposes of this presentation are forcible rape, coercive sex, and non-consensual sex. Forcible rape is the obvious one, is the one that everybody recognizes. It's force, violence, weapons, right? This is just the violent rape that is the way it's depicted in media most of the time. Coercive sex is a little bit different. And if you have a very entrenched power and dominance relationship between the abuser and the victim, you may want to really slow down and look at whether it is happening or not. And the fact is this, coercive sex may not be happening, even in an abusive relationship. So I don't just assume and condescend my client, but I do ask questions to figure out if it's happening. Coercive sex can be elicited from your victim, for example, by telling her that it is her duty to have sex. She doesn't have an option, it is her duty. There can be threats. Those threats can be more or less violent. There can be a threat of, I will kick you out of the house. And if their victim by then doesn't have a job and thinks she will lose the children, she may comply just because she's afraid. Guilt. Guilting a partner into sex within an abusive relationship can be coercive sex. If there's already a very strong power dynamic between the two partners, you may want to look at that. Sometimes there's pressure to drink. Which in the same way as abusers will sometimes force their victims to engage in drug activities, they'll sometimes pressure them into drinking, and then they'll have sex with them while they're drunk and incapacitated. And then sometimes it's a violence avoidance, and that is a really, really important one to keep in mind. Sometimes victims will say, no, I said yes, I accepted having sex so that he wouldn't get mad or so that I would calm him down. That is coercive sex. Because even though the victims might see the abuser as out of control and incapable of controlling himself and therefore needing sex to calm down, the reality is that the abuser very likely knows exactly what he's doing. And that he knows that if he scares her enough, she'll have sex with him to keep him calm. That is coercive. Even though she accepted and she consented, you have to look at what are her options. And then there's non-consensual sex, which is the absence of yes, period. That's really tricky. It's a hard place to go. It is worth looking at the power dynamic in the relationship and understanding whether she really has the option of saying no.